So we call this the war room.
Names, pictures, dates, and times.
You have the actual timeline of Sasha's life from the day that she died until it may make a week after.
Cover the walls of a large room known as the war room at the Chesterfield County Sheriff's Office.
We have different people of interest on this side of the wall. We have Sasha's profile down there.
4 homicides in Chesterfield County this year, one of which remains unsolved.
Every single detail bringing investigators closer to finding who killed Sasha Wall.
All her social media records, driver's license, anything you can think of dealing with a person is in this room.
Each piece still a secret to be kept, only for investigators to know.
Sasha was my only child.
Olivia Chambers is Sasha's mother. Sasha, a transgender black woman, was born as Wendell Paul Price Jr. She started going by Sasha Wall when she was 18.
She was a very loving, kind individual that got along with everybody. And we just really can't determine the reason why someone wanted to take her life.
Early in the morning on April 1st, 2018, someone saw Sasha slumped over in her car along Sandy Plains Road in Chesterfield County. Her car was still running and stopped 50 feet before the stop sign. Sasha had been shot several times at close range.
My brother came and he said, "You need to go." And he got me out of church. I said, "What is?" He would never tell me.
It was Easter Sunday.
The pastor and everybody came out of church, and it was just a shock. And everybody was just hollering, and they just couldn't believe it.
No one knows why Sasha was out that early in the morning or where she was going.
She would just do things by the spur of the moment. She decided, I'm gonna go club, I'm a club. If I'm gonna go hang with my friends, I'm gonna hang with my friends. That's what Sasha would do.
Her mother has a feeling.
She was trying to get to me, I think, and couldn't get to me.
We have a good timeline. The car was not here at 5 a.m.
Something pretty bad had to have happened.
Investigators believe Sasha knew her killer.
That person probably ate from my table.
The reason why that person killed Sasha remains a mystery.
It could be for jealous, it could be domestic, it could be for control, it could be sexual, it could be financial.
Maybe they found out that she was not actually she and a male. It could be many different things.
Based on Sasha's Facebook records, Sergeant Robinson believes it was a relationship gone wrong.
It's a very complex case. There's a lot of pieces to this puzzle.
2 key pieces of the puzzle, Sasha's cell phone and the murder weapon, have never been found.
I believe this case will be solved. It's just a matter of time.
Investigators hope that by continuing to tell Sasha's story, someone will remember something and will break their silence.
No matter what you have to say, we'll listen to whatever tip, whatever thing you thought you saw. It doesn't matter. Just tell us.
I just want closure. I just want someone just come forward to killing my child.
Christmas, a time of joy and celebration, a time to be with family and friends. Come to this cemetery in Burke County, you can see that for at least one family, Christmas is a time of incredible sorrow. On that day in 1981, Rhonda Henson was buried.
It's always hard, but Christmas time when everybody else is happy and shopping and music, and it's hard, real hard.
Rhonda, 19 years old, living with her parents, Judy and Bobby Henson, in Valdez. She graduated from high school and recently started working at a company in Hickory.
She loved everybody. Friends with everybody. She wanted to be the center of attention.
She was a lot of fun. She was very happy-go-lucky, always smiling. She had just a really, really, really beautiful smile.
It was Wednesday, December 23rd, and Rhonda was driving here along Interstate 40 in the early morning hours, headed back home to Valdez. She'd been to her company Christmas party in Hickory.
I woke up about 12:30 and got up and she wasn't here. But I really didn't expect her to be here. But I woke Bobby up and he said, I have to go to work in a couple hours. He said, you know she's all right. She told you she's going to stay in Hickory. And I said, I'm really scared. I think there's something wrong. And he got up and I said, Bobby, Rhonda's dead. I was so sure.
Sometime after 1 a.m., Rhonda took the Mineral Springs Mountain Road exit off Interstate 40. Less than half a mile from her home, a bullet ripped through the trunk of her car, the back seat, the driver's seat, and into her heart.
Every time I'd come to visit my parents and take that exit, I'm thinking, where in the world would somebody been shooting a gun at that time of morning?
Larry Griffin, originally from Burke County, is working to answer that question. He's written extensively about unsolved murders, including Rhonda's. Why does it bother you so much?
Well, I never believed the storyline. Largely, an accidental shooting. Oh, come on! I couldn't buy that. How random and how unlucky.
It's never been proven whether the bullet that killed Rhonda was a random shot or something more sinister. Larry has built a thorough storyline and a theory about what he believes happened.
I know who killed Rhonda Henson.
Judy Henson and Jill Mull believe they know too. We're not naming that person because they've never been charged or named as a suspect. No one has ever been charged with Rhonda's murder. The proof, according to investigators, just isn't there. There were apparently no witnesses to the shooting, and again, it was dark and visibility was limited that night. Police say after Rhonda was shot, her car rolled backwards along the road into this ditch. Body was found lying on the ground outside the car, and it's not clear whether someone pulled her from the car or whether she got out on her own.
No way she got all the way up here and come back. Never got up there.
Questions have been raised about whether evidence at the crime scene was compromised. Griffin gave us this report from a former investigator for the sheriff's office who reviewed the case in 1995. In a sobering observation, he said,
due to the negligent mishandling of physical evidence in this case, further investigation would be futile, non-productive, and a waste of good investigative time. A suspect's confession, without the rifle, would not produce a conviction in court.
The reward in the case has been increased to more than $94,000.
The reward money, there's not enough zeros.
Honestly, I don't think it matters. I don't think, no matter how much it is, I don't think anybody's coming forward. Money's not gonna get them to talk.
Well, this was one of my favorites right here.
Memories of a father's love.
This would have been one of the last pictures we had together.
Kept in old photographs.
Some of his last words were, tell Adam and Brittany I love them.
Brittany Young was just 4 years old when Monty Wisecarver, her 26-year-old father, was murdered.
I'd like to know why and who, because I don't know who would want to do that to a father that's just trying to raise his kids.
Didn't have a lot of issues, wasn't in the drug culture, got out of the military, went right to work.
There's no valid reason anybody had to kill Monty.
But someone had a reason. It was early morning Friday, October 23rd, 1992. Monty went outside his home on Sherrills Ford Road to warm up his truck before work. 2 shots were fired at him at close range. One hit his throat, the other his chest. When deputies got to the scene, Monty was still alive.
He was nonverbal, but he would respond by shaking his head yes or no. And the deputies that arrived were able to get some descriptive information of the suspect.
Monty died a short time later. The most solid clue detectives had, neighbors heard someone speed away on a motorcycle.
On these cold cases, if they were easy cases, they would have been solved right away.
Rowan County Sheriff Travis Allen showed me the case file, full of pictures, diagrams, and transcripts of countless interviews with family, friends, acquaintances. Still, no definitive answers. Until years later.
One evening I'm sitting at home with my dad and he says, whatever happened to the Wisecarver murder case? He said, that young man used to work for me. And I was like, really, Dad? And he said, yeah. He said, you know what was odd about that is he wasn't supposed to go to work that day.
It was a huge clue. Monty worked for Sheriff Allen's father, but he wasn't interviewed in the initial investigation. Monty didn't normally work on Fridays, but Sheriff Allen's father said he'd been called Thursday night and asked to come in Friday to work an extra shift. That meant only a few people would have known Monty would be leaving for work early that Friday morning, narrowing the list of potential suspects.
It almost like lit a fire, and I chased it as far as I could chase it. And now it's just like embers kind of fired back up. When you get new information, these cases, they kick off.
That fire has led to the discovery of new information.
We think we know what it was about, and we think we know who did it. And you know, some of the details, unfortunately, can't be released. So we keep those close to our chest.
Lieutenant Ryan Barkley says this is still a very active investigation. Detectives are collecting additional evidence and tracking down witnesses, leading them closer than ever to solving the case.
It is a mission of ours to make sure that if you've taken the life of somebody else, that you will be held accountable for it. And we don't give up on stuff like this.
The passage of time could prove beneficial as witnesses grow older and relationships change.
Where they may have protected somebody 30 years ago, they don't have that close relationship with that individual anymore, and they're not willing to protect that individual. So they often can be more forthcoming with information, and that's what we are finding in this case.
For Brittany, who's married with 6 children of her own, time hasn't healed the heartbreak of losing her father.
You know, when I've had my children, I've missed having him. You know, I don't get the joy of him getting to play with them or to know them. Just a lot of missed things in life. He didn't get to walk me down the aisle. He's missed it all, and I've missed him. And I feel like I've been robbed of that.
There's a stillness in this field in a remote area of Greenville County, South Carolina. A calmness to this creek as it slowly flows along its banks. Yet for all the peace and tranquility the area offers, it is also known as the Dark Corner.
Anything that you wanted to get away with, Dark Corner is where you came.
Someone came here 46 years ago, and to this day, they have gotten away with something. The murders of 22-year-old Donna McCracken and 28-year-old David Clemenshaw. The story really begins here in this quiet neighborhood in Asheville along this street. Donna McCracken and David Clemenshaw lived in a house here on this street. But what happened between this house and Greenville, South Carolina remains a mystery.
Here's the picture over on the basketball team.
Jan Gray was friends with Donna. They went to Owen High School together in nearby Swannanoa.
Donna was a sweetheart. She was kind of shy, but once you got to know her, she opened up and she was hilarious.
David was a Navy veteran and divorced.
I think she was in love, but I don't think everything was wonderful.
Jan says she remembers the last time she saw Donna and the first time she met David.
She was so excited we'd come to see her because she had a new boyfriend, and I didn't like him. I don't know why I didn't like him, but it was just a red flag from the word go.
That last encounter ingrained in her memory. Jan admits they smoked pot together at the house that night, but wasn't prepared for what Donna showed her as she was leaving.
She said, "Oh, let me show you what's in the freezer." And she opened it up and she said, "Here's the LSD, here's the peyote, here's the yada, yada, yada." And we got to the car and we thought, she's in over her head.
So this box is it, right?
Yeah.
The case file, basically.
This and what I have here on the table that I've been working on.
Sergeant Jason Cox of the Greenville County Sheriff's Office has spent years digging through the decades-old case file.
They were just a young couple having fun.
4th of July weekend, 1978. Donna and David were going to meet friends at a festival in Cherokee County. On the way, they planned to stop in Madison County, where investigators believe they were going to buy drugs.
Somewhere between their house and Madison County, something had happened.
They never made it to the festival and were reported missing. If they did indeed drive to Madison County, one prevailing theory involves 2 hitchhikers.
2 independent witnesses had given statements and said that they were hitchhiking Donna and David picked him up, and David had a bunch of cash on him that they saw, and they decided at that moment to go ahead and rob him.
That scenario has some weight to it because at a party months later, two people bragged about robbing a couple, strangling them to death, and ditching their car near a swimming hole in Madison County. The car was found in Madison County, but when police interviewed the two, they never admitted to anything.
These two individuals could have just been bragging about something that they read in the paper to try to take credit for and had nothing to do with it.
Sergeant Cox declined to identify the two, and both have since died.
Just because they passed away doesn't mean the case is closed. You still have to be able to prove that they did it.
That brings us back to Dark Corner, this field, this creek. This is where the bodies of Donna and David were found days after they were reported missing. David was lying in the creek, his shirt missing and hands tied behind his back. Donna along the bank.
She was more bent at the waist, fetal position, with her hands tied behind her back and facing down like in a submissive, almost kneeling position.
Both blindfolded, both strangled to death.
Strangulation seems so personal and like vindictive and horrible.
What happened? Were there drugs involved? Was it just a random robbery turned into something worse? How did their bodies turn up almost 100 miles from where their car was found?
The location is pretty isolated away from where anybody would have just known about unless they had intimate information of it.
Sergeant Cox hopes DNA clues will be found from the evidence discovered decades ago.
We may not be able to solve it right now, but it will get solved one day. We're not giving up.